One of the top questions viewers have been asking me over the last 9 months is, do Mark DiMaggio and Brett Bishop know each other? Is there some connection between the two of them? A while back, I was contacted from a source who will remain anonymous at this time, and he will simply be known as Doug. Doug offered up some information that, if correct, could explain the missing link between Mark DiMaggio and Brett Bishop. I will not be quoting Doug precisely in this video, but rather paraphrasing the information he gave to me. I verified who Doug is to ensure this wasn't someone pranking me, and everything checked out. In my first Stephen Koecher case update video released on Christmas Day 2020, I went over the St. George Police Report, the Henderson Police Department Combined Report, as well as the Orem BB Report that were intentionally leaked to the Unfound Podcast website in 2020. Based off information I have learned over the last 9 months, and from my conversations with Doug, I want to go back and look at these reports again, specifically the BB Report, and expand on some things that may have been overlooked or not properly fleshed out. In the BB Report, it states that Orem police went to check out Brett's garage on August 6, 2009. According to Mark Patey, Brett's most recent employer, Brett had attempted to stash the stolen Porsche Cayenne at his Spanish Fork airplane hangar on August 7, 2009. Mark Patey contacted the police on August 9th or 10th and told them about this strange event where Brett contacted him to store the Porsche at his hangar. According to the report, Mark gave the officer the plate number of the Porsche Cayenne. Because Mark had the plate number for the Porsche, Brett had to have been physically at Mark's hangar on August 7th for Mark to have been able to write down the plate number. Therefore, this contact between Brett and Mark was not just a phone call, text, or email from Brett asking Mark to store the Porsche. The precise time when Brett showed up at the hangar, whether Mark immediately turned Brett away, or whether the Porsche was stored there, and if so for how long, was not mentioned in the report. I will assume that the officer never asked these questions. Mark goes on to say in the report that he has known Brett for 6 years, and that he first met Brett when Brett volunteered to work for his U-Rock rock crawling events. According to Mark, Brett volunteered to help set up and organize these U-Rock events. The U-Rock events started out small, but grew to sizable events. These events took place in various states, including Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and Oregon, just to name a few. The rock crawling events gained enough attention that eventually the U-Rock organization signed a television deal with ESPN2. The events attracted huge sponsors, including BF Goodrich, Goodyear, and Toyo Tire. Reportedly, Brett worked his way up to become the event coordinator and construction manager for U-Rock, and worked on just about every single U-Rock event, if not all of them. Brett's primary job was to get security staff in place, as well as hire construction workers to help create these off-road rock crawling courses that included massive natural and man-made obstacles. These courses sometimes had to go up at a moment's notice and were logistical nightmares, considering that not only did these courses have to go up quickly, but they also had to be designed to challenge the drivers, designed to entertain the crowds, and most importantly, designed to be as safe as reasonably possible. It goes without saying that these events weren't your neighbor Bubba having some buddies over for a Friday night off-road throwdown in their backyard. To give you a better idea of what these events were like, here's a clip from a U-Rock event held in St. George, Utah.
You know, rock crawling's been around for years, but as a competitive sport, it's fairly new. So for anybody out there watching, let me go through some of the basics of an event like this. First of all, it takes place over 2 days. Each competitor must go through 5 courses on day 1, 5 courses on day 2 for a total of 10. Low score wins. When it comes to the vehicles, you've got 2 classes. The modified class, real simple. You can have stock frames and tire size no bigger than 37 inches. Now the super modified, little different story. If you've got the budget, the know-how, you can build just about anything. Now, as far as the rules go, pretty simple. All you really need to know is points are bad. How do you get points? Let's go through it real quick. If you hit one of these cones while you're going through an obstacle, it's going to cost you 10 points. If you back your vehicle up, that'll cost you a point. If you stop for more than 4 seconds, that's also going to cost you a point. If you look at some of the super modified vehicles, they've got rear steering. If you use that during an obstacle, it'll cost you 5 points, but you can use it for the rest of the course. Now, one thing you need to be aware of is what if you roll it over? This is an extreme off-roading event. It's absolutely fine to roll your vehicle. You just got to make sure you either land on all fours or you and your spotter get it back on its wheels, because if anybody touches it, you're going to take the maximum points for that obstacle, and that's 40. Basically, that's your rules.
The UROC events kept getting bigger and better, which led up to a major event that was held in Las Vegas in 2005 in conjunction with the SEMA show. According to the SEMA website, the SEMA show brings together every segment of the automotive industry, from hot rods and off-roads to mobile electronics and collision repair. Basically, if you're in the business of motorsports, in any aspect, SEMA is the event for you. This UROC event, held in conjunction with the SEMA show in 2005, required a lot of construction work to be done in a short amount of time. Numerous construction workers from the Las Vegas area were hired to assist in this project. Unlike most UROC events that included obstacles found in nature, this event in Las Vegas had to be built from the ground up. For the UROC event at SEMA, giant rock formations made from concrete and dirt were built in the parking lot at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Looking back at the BB report, Mark tells police what a valuable asset Brett was to their organization, and then goes on to say that UROC eventually folded. From what I've discovered online, UROC closed their doors in 2007. After UROC folded, Mark Patey, along with co-owner Ranch Pratt, decided to start a closed-door pharmacy called Koecher Pharmacy. Now that's a hell of a transition from off-road rock crawling to filling prescriptions, but Mark Patey seems to succeed at most things he puts his mind to. He credits his success and his failures to ADHD. He has a book available on Amazon titled Addicts and Millionaires: The Gift and Curse of ADHD. Mark also has a successful YouTube channel and even donates his personal helicopter to the Utah Search and Rescue Team. Helping on Steven's case seems like something Mark would jump at the chance to do. I am hopeful he will respond to me at some point. Going back to the report, Mark states that management at the pharmacy received an anonymous email in 2009 telling them that someone who fits Brett's description had been ripping off the pharmacy. Now, this is the bizarre part that still has me scratching my head almost a year after reading this report. Mark Patey states that because of this anonymous email, they decided to let Brett go. But for some reason he was kept on. My understanding is that Brett was still working there at Koecher at the time of the raid on his garage in August 2009. The officer in the Orem report never asked Mark or Ranch if Brett was still employed with Koecher, and Mark nor Ranch ever stated that Brett had been terminated in the report. The pills that were found in Brett's garage during the raid were under different people's names. I researched these names, and the names I was able to track down came back to elderly persons who were being cared for in assisted living facilities in 2009. Wilma Spivak was staying at Chancellor Gardens, as well as the Rocky Mountain Hospice, located in Salt Lake City. Ora Barlow was also staying at Chancellor Gardens, located in Salt Lake City. And Glenn Badolf and Eugene Bach were staying at facilities in Ogden, Utah. Something interesting I discovered while researching these names, one of the names on the pill bottles, Max Richmond, is actually one of Brett's relatives. I believe this is his uncle. Koecher Pharmacy specialized in filling prescriptions for assisted living facilities and troubled youth centers. So Brett having these pills in his garage for persons who were residents at assisted living facilities in 2009 certainly does seem to corroborate what the anonymous emailer had stated to Mark and Ranch about Brett taking pills from the pharmacy. Important to note, Koecher Pharmacy wasn't just servicing local assisted living and troubled youth centers in Utah. They were also servicing out-of-state facilities and centers as well. From my understanding, they had customers in Idaho, as well as Nevada, that Brett was making deliveries to. Now, before I move on to the information about the possible link between Brett Bishop and Mark DiMaggio, I want to remind viewers that the information provided in my videos is for entertainment purposes only. I leave all conclusions to you, the audience. To the extent that pending or settled criminal matters, or crimes or possible crimes are discussed in my videos, all parties or defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law.
On top of this, I just want to add that no one in my audience should contact anyone who I have mentioned in my videos. Additionally, please follow true crime posting etiquette when posting comments on my channel, and use general descriptors and/or initials rather than actual persons' names.
The tipster Doug stated that Mark DiMaggio looked familiar to him and that he thinks he saw Mark working construction on an event that Brett was also working on in the Las Vegas Henderson area sometime between 2005 and 2008. Doug wasn't 100% sure, but he stated that this could possibly be verified by contacting the construction unions in Las Vegas, because any type of construction that goes on in Las Vegas normally goes through the union. This information piqued my interest, because Mark DiMaggio had been working various construction jobs while living in Florida in the 90s and early 2000s, including one job with Noble Construction. So it would make sense that Mark would continue to work these type of construction jobs after he moved to Henderson, Nevada around 2005. Looking back at the Henderson Combined Police Report, Mark told Henderson PD that he had been working as a maintenance worker for a Sicilian restaurant around the time of Stephen's disappearance, and Mark continues to work in construction and maintenance to this day. So Doug's information about Mark working a construction job in the Las Vegas area seems plausible. Doug went on to say that he was not sure which event he saw them at together, because there were so many off-road events that he had attended during that period. But possibly the UROC event at SEMA. Alternatively, it may have been the ConExpo-Con Ag event or some other off-road expo. Doug also told me that along with these rock crawling events, there were frequently sideshow events for remote control rock crawling. Doug told me that Mark may have been working or taking part in these RC rock crawling events. This information about the RC rock crawling also seemed plausible, because Mark DiMaggio has posted pictures and images of himself building and operating RC rock crawlers on social media in recent years. If Mark was working construction for an event where Brett was also working, it is probable they had some type of interaction at some point, especially considering that Brett was the event coordinator and construction manager for these events. Alternatively, if Mark participated in the RC rock crawling at these off-road events, it's likely they may have crossed paths at some point. Yet again, this is something that Mark Patey and Ranch Pratt may be able to help clear up. Do they recall ever seeing Mark DiMaggio at any of their events as a construction worker or being a part of the RC rock crawl competitions? Additionally, there were countless people involved in the construction of these events in Las Vegas and Henderson. There must be some construction workers who work these events that could confirm or deny what Doug is saying. According to Doug, the rock crawling and RC rock crawling community is an extremely small, tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone. Perhaps those who frequently attended these events or took part in these competitions may be able to corroborate Doug's claims. Based off the information given to me by Doug, the following are some events that they may have possibly worked together on. The ConExpo-Con Ag event in 2005 or 2008. Reportedly, there was a build site created for this expo that was nearby the Henderson Executive Airport, which is the same airport that was located near the Anthem community where Mark DiMaggio was living at the time. This increases the probability that Mark may have been involved, given that he lived right there where the build site was located. UROC Supercrawl 4, held in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the major UROC event that was held in conjunction with the 2005 SEMA show. We Rock World Championship and We Rock Event 1, Henderson, Nevada. We Rock World Finals, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, all this being said, this information from Doug has not been verified, and while Doug's information seems plausible, we need to do some more research and see if this information can be corroborated by others. Moving on to the big news on Stephen's case. Regrettably, this information that I've been teasing since April 9th of this year cannot be released at this time. There continues to be things going on behind the scenes that are hindering me from releasing this information. I believe any reasonable person will understand why I can't release this information once it is revealed what is going on behind the scenes. Eventually, this information will be released. I have released some of the details of what is going on behind the scenes to several persons who I trust. If anything happens to me, they have been given instructions to release this information to the FBI. I've received numerous tips and information over the last 9 months regarding Stephen's case, and I appreciate every single one of you who have reached out to me. There are several people who know what happened to Stephen, and it's just a matter of time before someone finds the courage to come forward. If you have any information on the disappearance of Stephen Koecher, please contact the Henderson Police Department tip line at 702-267-5000. If you don't want to speak with law enforcement, you can contact me at arrinstoner@yahoo.com, and you can remain completely anonymous. I am offering a $3,000 reward for information that leads to the discovery of what happened to Stephen Koecher. Thank you so much for checking out this update on the Stephen Koecher case. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to drop me a like and subscribe.